Greetings, this is an overview of week 2. In week 2, we move on in our final project by focusing in on that research question that we developed in week 1. We had actually developed 3, and now we're going to choose one and move on. We have 2 assignments in week 2 that are graded. The first is a discussion. The discussion requires that you identify your research question, list the sources you selected from the project resources. So in week 1, you've already selected one. You'll need to select a second source. You're going to share links to the 2 sources that you found. Be sure those links work so that your peers can comment on them. Describe how the sources support your topic and research question, and how do they give a different look. We're talking about different perspectives. What are the different perspectives that these 2 sources present? And then finally, do they give a full picture or not? If not, what other perspectives do you need? What else do you want to get to give a full picture and to support both the full breadth of the topic and your position on the topic? In your peer response, you'll want to comment on the sources that your peers shared. Look at the sources. Have any recommendations, please share them. And what other perspectives might you recommend for your peers? Next, we have the project proposal and research process. When we look at the requirements for this assignment, a couple of things we want to note. First, that research question. I mentioned it previously. In week 1, you found a topic. You kind of put together maybe 2 or 3 different angles of questions about that topic. That is leading you into the research question. Now you'll choose one of those questions from week 1 and elaborate on it. Identify the topic in the original article that you selected. Now we're going to list sources. 2 credible sources from the Shapiro Library and 2 additional sources that can be non-library sources such as internet articles or blogs. Remember that down the road, you can need one source that supports the opposing view. So you may want to think about that as you look at other non-library sources. They say alternately you can practice your APA. I strongly recommend that you do so. And then explain how each source supports your research and potentially answers the research question. So note, organization of these assignments, particularly here, it is important to communicate clearly. Follow the lead 1, 2, 3, like research question, answer that in a paragraph. Topic, do A, B, C, so that it's clear that you're both meeting all the requirements and that it's easy to follow what your thought process is. Let's just take a quick look at the rubric. First, the research question. Explain why you selected it and any revisions you made from week 1. Typically, the question in week 1 may not be fully developed, so you may want to expand on it. I want to note that below I'm also including a video from the library that is on narrowing your topic. This may help you in that formation or the research question, bringing it to a much better focused question. Identify the topic in the original article selected. So you want to just kind of give us that relationship, why and what is the relevancy of the topic to the source, and then explain how each source supports the research and potentially answers the question. This really comes down to just, here's the source and you've read it, skimmed it, you have a good feel for it. You're really just kind of summarizing it. This is what the source says, and this is how it relates to the topic. And finally, obviously, clear communication in terms of writing. Let me just say one word about clear communication and also about your research question and finding sources. The use of AI to write your paper, to formulate your answers, is unacceptable. What is acceptable is to use Grammarly or the sources within Word itself, the grammar and spelling, and any AI source that helps you correct errors in things you've already written. It's also a good source for brainstorming. Perhaps you're not finding exactly what you want in terms of a non-library source on book banning. Well, you might ask, what are some sources that support limited reading or book banning in schools? And it would possibly give you some sources that are not in the library, and that will help. I hope this is helpful. I look forward to reading your proposals and seeing how we're developing the research. And I, again, always encourage you to contact me if you need help. Have a great week.